The Democrats are demanding an urgent change of direction in Iraq. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld today acknowledged that he is disappointed at the progress of the war in Iraq, this one day after he resigned. Rumsfeld's acknowledgment heightened some expectations that the Bush administration is considering a major shift in U.S. strategy in Iraq. Jamie McIntyre reports from the Pentagon.
Now that he's a short-timer, even outgoing Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld admits the current strategy in Iraq is not working.
It has not been going well enough or fast enough.
In an exchange with students at Kansas State University, Rumsfeld urged perseverance and resolve as adjustments to the strategy are made by the man nominated to replace him, former CIA Director Robert Gates, who is one of 10 members of the bipartisan Iraq study group charged with finding a way out of Iraq. The options include stay the course, which is already seen as failing, strategic redeployment, pulling the troops back perhaps as far as Kuwait, as advocated by Representative John Murtha and other Democrats, more U.S. troops, which U.S. commanders say won't help in the long term, and partition along sectarian lines, something the White House has labeled a non-starter. So the most likely options appear to be a phased withdrawal under a carefully planned timeline to force the Iraqis to step up.
I think basically unless we start a phased withdrawal, the Iraqis will never make the political compromises necessary to create an Iraq that's worth fighting and dying for.
And engaging Iraq's neighbors, Iran and Syria, something Commission Group co-chairman James Baker says he's open to, but is vigorously opposed by hardliners.
Will we be negotiating with enemies like the regime in Iran in the hopes that they'll somehow help us solve the problem they're creating in no small measure in Iraq? And I think that's going to be a mistake of potentially very strategic and long-standing dimensions.
Also taking the long view is lame duck Pentagon Chief Donald Rumsfeld, who insists America is on the right side of history.
If you were going to give yourself a letter grade for your performance as Secretary of Defense, what grade would that be?
Oh, I'd let history worry about that.
Meanwhile, the Senate confirmation hearings for Robert Gates are now set for the beginning of December, and the recommendations from that Iraq study group are expected about the beginning of January. Lou?
Jimmy, thank you very much. Jamie McIntyre from the Pentagon.